ओम श्री साई राम। जप ध्यान बिना संयोग नहीं, प्रभु दर्श बिना प्रज्ञान नहीं। दया धर्म बिना सत्कर्म नहीं, भगवान बिना कोई अपना नहीं, हरि नाम बिना परमात्मा नहीं, साई भजन बिना सुख शांति नहीं। ओम श्री साई राम। Many of the modern youth get actually repulsive whenever there is any talk of spirituality, God, religion. And we cannot blame them so, because the idea of religion, the spirituality and God has been so grossly misinterpreted and so grossly put forward in this modern education and modern living that the youth feels it may be good after some 60 years after retirement, but now we have to first prove ourselves, we have to realize our dreams, we have to achieve something in life, then we shall think of renunciation of spirituality, God and whatnot. And religion has been so much commercialized and to some extent even criminalized because of the politics that we play, that youth just get disgusted with the very mention of religion, spirituality and God, and we cannot blame them for that. Swami always used to say the youth are pure gold. The entire blame, the entire fault lies with the elders, the leaders who have become dealers. It is all blind leading the blind. No one actually knows what they would lose and what they will find. That is why man's extremity is God's opportunity, and that is the reason why the avatar has to come down with this most beautiful and powerful weapon, instrument, medicine of love. Love heals. Love and continue to love till you are completely healed. Forgive till it heals your mind, heals your soul. Give till it pains your pocket and heals your soul. If you can love sufficiently enough, selflessly enough, fearlessly enough, and universally enough, you could be the most powerful person in the entire world. This God is offering this olive branch to the youth, that to become powerful, you don't have to compete. You don't have to bring down others. If you want to rise up, you can rise in love, not fall in love. Everything can be sanctified and purified. Every emotion needs to be sanctified and purified with this all season purifier, the emotion of pure love, selfless love. Why selfless? Because absolute selflessness ensures absolute fearlessness. Who doesn't want to be fearless? Who doesn't want to be powerful? This avatar gives us, the youth, this option. Why to play the low game? Low aim is a crime. Aim high. You have great destiny. And He has come down to give us His hand to pull us up. We should not be fools. Like the king had a fleeting thought. Of course, he was wise enough to listen to his discrimination, his common sense. When the king is falling down the well, he gets hold of the hanging branch. The branch supports the king and saves him from falling down. But when his soldiers come searching for him, they find his horse and they find the king hanging in the mid of the dry well with the poisonous snakes below. They immediately make a rope out of their turbans and they throw the rope to him and ask him to catch hold of the rope. The king is holding the branch with his both hands and he is swinging left and right. That is our situation. We are holding the branch of our worldly achievements, our worldly power and authorities, and our worldly possessions, which has saved us for some time from falling down. And when the king holds on to the rope with one hand and was about to leave the branch and hold the rope with both hands, the branch as if speaks in agony. O king, I supported you for so long. I saved your life. And now just you got a chance to go up. You're abandoning me, leaving me to my fate. I was feeling so happy that the king is taking my support. Any person even with little minimum common sense would leave the branch and go up. Will he hold on to the branch? Even if suppose there is a fool, an idiot, educated fool, who holds on to the branch to show his gratitude or his fear of going up. What if I leave the branch and hold on to the rope and they pull me up and suddenly suppose the rope breaks down, then I will fall, I may not be able to hold to the branch again. So many fears, phobias running in the mind. Assuming that you hold on to the branch, how long can you hold to that branch? Either the branch will give up because it cannot take your weight, or you will give up because you cannot hold on to the branch with your hands. You will become tired, exhausted. There is a point when you will not be able to hold it for one moment more. Then you will have to release. Either the branch will fall and make you fall, or you will have to leave it. Fall you must. You can delay it by some time. So the best option is to take that golden opportunity to rise up. Your soldiers are inviting you. They are throwing their rope. They say the strong rope, don't worry. We are there to support you and pull you back. And this avatar has come to give us that golden opportunity. Many of us fear the spiritual and religious living of renunciation because we have some examples in front of us whom actually we adore. We all adore, even the richest of persons all over the world, even the biggest leaders. They adore the Christ. They adore Ramakrishna Paramahansa. They adore Buddha. They adore Mother Sita. They adore Rama. They adore Hanuman. None of them were rich in money and marketing and that what we call richness. None of them had that political powers. Ramana Maharishi, Kabir, Tulsidas, Shabri, Meera. In fact, the Queen Mother Sita, the Queen Meera, the Prince Siddhartha, to achieve that halo, that awareness, they had to renounce their wealth, their power, their authority. Even Rama had to go to the forest. Mother Sita hardly enjoyed the comforts of the palace in Ayodhya. That is why she adored and worshipped till today. We adore them, but we do not want to emulate them. We still want to become, what to say, Adanis and Ambanis and Bill Gates. Tell me how many people can adore Adani, Ambani or Bill Gates, not ABC, any person of that, for that matter. We have no personal things, but yet just to give example, we don't adore them. Many of the people even would hate them probably, because every common man feels that it is their money which has gone to these people to make them rich through their political manipulations and media management and whatnot. Maybe or may not be true, God knows. But we don't adore them at least. We don't even love them. We don't even sometimes respect them from our heart. We respect their achievements. But yet we want to become rich like them, powerful like them. We adore Ramakrishna Paramahansa, Ramana Maharishi. We go to their temples, but we don't want to become Ramakrishna Paramahansa or Ramana Maharishis. No ways, no youth will aspire for that. We don't want to become Shabri and Meeras. No ways. They are good only in temples. We'll go and worship them and adore them, but we don't want to become them. This is a paradox. Whom we adore, we don't want to emulate, and whom we actually, to some extent, hate, we want to emulate them. This is the paradox of this Kali age. Life is lost in dreaming. Being is lost in becoming. Our thoughts, our words and actions are never in coordination. That is why this avatar came, as I mentioned in one of my talks when I was talking to that Sardarji. Satyanarayana Raju was born in the poorest of poor families in a village which was not mentioned in any of even district maps. This is 1926 in British rule. Who would know Puttaparthi? It was not even a village. And he or his family never had any political or social or economical status. Absolute no. Below poverty line, as we call it. Hand to mouth. Even less than that. But he showed on human plane, without using his divine powers for himself, he showed that this Satyanarayana Raju with power of his love, universal love, selfless love, to create an empire that even so-called richest people in the world would envy. Not a penny for himself. Swami's personal expenses from Sri Sathya Sai Trust, not even a penny. His dress was gifted by his devotees. The food was coming from his brother's house and hostels, and he would take, in his own words, not less than half a chapati. No fruits, no dry fruits, no milk, no buttermilk, no personal expenses, nothing. He lived till 1993 in a room not more than 10 by 12, 10 by 10, made up of stones with no plasters done, hot like a furnace. He told me personally in an interview that when entire day I put on this dhoti, when I go to my room in the evening, I remove everything and put on only half shirt and I feel relaxed. And what was the furniture in his room? Only one cot with a back leaning to right. No furniture at all. Yet he created such a big empire by the devotees, of the devotees, for the devotees. Who would borrow money to do charity? This Sathya Sai avatar showed that he borrowed money from World Bank to provide free drinking water to entire Andhra drought region of Rayalaseema and then Chennai. The World Bank officials were surprised. Who would borrow money to do charity? And no donation box in anywhere in Sathya Sai temples or organizations across the world. You will not find any donation box in Prashanti Nilayam. But he never used this power to create money. When Colonel Jogarao told him, Swami gave me this power for 24 hours. Because when he announced free hospital of 300 crores to be completed in 1 year, there was no money, not even a single rupee in the trust for construction of such a huge hospital. But his universal love, selfless, pure, unconditional love for the entire humanity attracted people across the world. As I mentioned, some of the richest persons offered him everything. That Sinclair, I can't pronounce his name, that American richest person. He has written that I was ready to give my entire wealth for one word of Swami. But what Swami seeks from him? Only one thing. Can you be happy for my sake? I have given you everything. Can you remain happy always for my sake? This is the God. He has shown what love can do. Now here is the example, living example. Historically recorded, each and every step of this avatar is recorded, audio, video, books, witnesses all over. That with love you could be the most powerful person in the entire world. Forget universe and all that we may not be able to comprehend. His one word was enough for any even political or religious leader or anyone from any religion, any region, any nation. Swami's one word could change the situation. I am talking on physical plane. So he has set the example. And he said, I have come to raise your consciousness, the human consciousness, to next level. I want each one of you to become Sathya Sai Babas. What leadership! I want to raise your human consciousness to the next level of human awareness. I want each one of you to become Satya Sai Babas with that power of love. Not love for the power, but power of love. Manifest that power. Universal love, selfless love. Because God told once, I don't keep any accountant because I send every soul empty handed. And when the time is up, I decide I call it back empty handed. In between, why to play with pebbles and shells? Why not dive deep in the ocean to get the pearls? Why to keep hanging? Hoping to enjoy the life for few. Swami says, Jagat comes and goes. Samsar, little sweetness you may enjoy. Samsar, little essence. But we all know it is false. It is like seen on the screen. When there is fire on the screen, even the fire brigade person sitting in the audience, he will not be moved to go and do something for the fire because fire is on the screen, not in reality. When there is murder shown on the screen, even the police commissioner watching that murder will not get up from his seat to intervene because it is murder on the screen. Everything is going on the screen. It has no existence of its own. It is a projection upon the screen. And we get deluded. Why to remain deluded? Why not awaken? Once King Janaka, he had a dream, very strong dream, that he is attacked by his enemies and the enemy has entered his kingdom and his fort and his private palace. They have taken over everything, all the army. They have kidnapped the wives, the queens, all the treasure, everything is gone and he escapes somehow. And he runs and runs in the jungles and he crosses the border and goes to the another neighboring kingdom. Nobody recognizes him. He has torn clothes and he is hungry for so many days, exhausted. Then he goes to door from door and starts begging for food, for water. Bhiksham Dehi, Bhiksham Dehi. And the dream was so strong and so realistic that he started actually pleading like this in his sleep. Bhiksham Dehi, Bhiksham Dehi. Now the maid servants around him in his bedroom, they heard the voice. They told the queen, king is telling something in his dream. The minister, the queen, everybody came and they heard kings telling, Bhiksham Dehi, Bhiksham Dehi. What did they do? The queen just woke him up from the sleep. And that was enough. Once he is awakened to the reality, then nobody should need to tell him that you are the king and I am the queen and this palace and everything is intact. Why do you say Bhiksham Dehi? We all are here to serve you. Where is the need to tell all that? Once he awakened, he knows that he is the king. He knows that she is my queen. He knows they are my subjects and soldiers and ministers. It is my kingdom. Only thing is that he needs to be awakened. Swami told, he wrote in a letter to boys, that I have created this entire universe for you, for your happiness, for your pleasure. What is there in the universe that you need to acquire and compete with each other for that? There is absolutely nothing in the entire universe worth getting agitated about, impressed about, or even afraid about. Because Swami says, take only God seriously in your life. Everything else is just a passing cloud. Be a witness to it. Enjoy it. Life is a dream. Realize it. Life is love. Enjoy it. Life is a game. Play it. Life is sometimes a challenge. Meet it. But don't get impressed by it. But we do exactly the opposite. We take even the small, even when we go to buy kerchief matching with our suit, we go to buy a dupatta with our dress or blouse for our sari, even for a button for our shirt, we want to ensure it is contrast color or matching color or this quality. We take it everything so seriously. We want to look beautiful. We don't want to be beautiful. We are Satyamam, Shivam, Sundaram. We are truth, goodness, beauty. We are embodiment of truth. We are embodiment of goodness. We are embodiment of beauty. We have to just radiate it. Love is the only power. Love is the only way. There is no other power. There is no other way. Jai Sai Ram.